Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
All right. Hey, guys, welcome back to our show. We're here today with Eric Richards, and what we're going to talk about is building businesses with zero money out of your pocket. Remember, guys, here at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, really all real estate entrepreneurs, 2 to 5x your business. And it allows them to build the businesses they want to build and live the life they've dreamed of. Eric, welcome to our show, man.
Appreciate you having me, John.
Yeah. I see you're in sub 2 as well.
Yep.
And I'm super interested in talking about the building a business or building businesses thing, because I think that's been a kind of a, I don't want to call it a trend, or maybe something that people have been getting into and buying businesses and whatnot.
Yeah.
Before we get into all that, we jump into the weeds. Kind of tell our audience about you. You know where you came from, your background, how you got into real estate, and how you got here.
Absolutely. My background is construction. I was in the Insulators Union for 17 years before I started into real estate. I actually got into real estate with no experience at all. I'd never done even a deal for myself. I mean, the last 7-8 years that I was in the union, I was a general foreman or a superintendent on every job I was on. I was doing $100 million plants and projects, and I was, the last project I was on was a $15 billion plant that was built.
Wow.
I had 503 people that worked underneath of me in that plant. You know what I mean? And I made really good money.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty good position.
Yeah, it's not bad, but the drawback was that I had to travel all the time. So you go to where the plant is, they don't build the plant in your backyard. So if you want to have any sort of a life, if you want to do anything other than work 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, it's just not for you. And I did it for 17 years, and it was very promising. I learned a lot about life and traveling and seeing things that I'd never dreamed I would ever see. But eventually you're getting a little bit older, and I got newly married, and she had a couple of kids from a previous marriage that, much like sub 2, I took over the payments of, and
Sub 2 your kids, huh?
Yeah. So I finished that $15 billion plan or whatever it was, and the company I worked for asked me to go to Minnesota and run a refinery job for 18 months. They were rebuilding. And I said, I haven't seen my family in 2 years, like every other weekend for like 4 or 5 hours maybe.
Man.
Let me take 30 days off. I'll take them on vacation. I'll actually let my wife know who her husband is again, and then I'll go and run your plant, no big deal. So we went to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and spent a week. The last week we were down there, we were at an Airbnb on the beach, sitting on the back porch, enjoying our last night at the beach. And the youngest kid, he's got up on my lap, and he was probably 4 at the time. And he said, when we get home, are you going to go back out on the road again? And I said, yeah, buddy. We just moved to a new area. It's closer to my wife's parents. Her dad was having health issues, and I said, we had just moved to the new town, and you're living with grandma and grandpa right now, but I'm trying to find us a new house so you can have your own bedroom again.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And mommy can have the house that she wants again, and we can get back to being, us again and everything like that. And he just started crying, and he said, I wish you could just stay home because I miss you.
Man.
And that was it. I was done. Like, absolutely just ripped my heart out because
Hey, I don't care how tough of a dude you are, that'll eat you alive.
it was murder. And at that point, I realized that, I thought I was working these hours and making all this money and benefiting my family. And at that moment, I realized it was a detriment. I was hurting my family.
Yeah.
That I can make all the money in the world, and all he wants is me to be there. So that was it.
I just want daddy time.
That's it. I didn't sleep at all that night. The next day we were driving back, got halfway home, and I just looked at my wife and said, I'm not going on the road again. And she's like, what are you talking about? I said, I'm done. I'm going to be home. I'm not going on the road. I told my boss that give me 30 days off, and I would run that plant. So got 30 days to find something that'll supplement my income so I don't have to go on the road again. And she's like, well, you make a lot of money. Like, you're not going to find something in 30 days to replace your income. And I said, probably not, but let's get home. Let's balance the budget. We don't need me to make all of that money for us to be able to get by. We're very conservative people. We don't buy flashy new stuff.
Sure.
The latest Yeezys or whatever it is. Like, we're just very conservative people, right?
Right.
So I said, let's get home. We'll balance the budget between what you make as W-2 and what we would need for us to be comfortable. Like, I'll find out what that number is, and I just have to make that to get started. And then for that, I can build from there. But at least if I make that, I can be home and we're good. And it turned out that number was $43,000, and which is not. I mean, it's barely middle of the road income and national averages. It's
Right.
But
that's just bare bones. That's keep the lights on, keep the food, kids fed,
I think
cars running.
keep everything as it was, and then I think we were putting like 5% in the bank as a savings. If I made 43 grand, and like that's really nothing, but just to get started, that's enough for us to get running on. So that's what I did. So I got back and I realized that number was really minuscule, and I had a friend recommend that their nephew got into wholesaling real estate, and I should look at wholesaling. And I started looking into it, and they're like, with your work ethic, with your drive, like, he's a loser that never graduated high school and he's making $10,000 a month. Like, the way that you operate, the way your mind works, and the way that you go after things, like, you could be a millionaire at wholesale.
Right.
And so I looked into it, and I was actually looking at Jamil Damji's. I wasn't just going to be a wholesaler.
Astro flipping.
Yeah, I wanted to get an astro flipping. I wanted to do a Keegley franchise, and I wanted to be my own boss and run it and build it up. Like he said, I have drive that's probably second to none.
Yeah.
So I got on, of course, YouTube University, was watching all the Jamil free content that I could get, and because him and Pace have the triple digit flip show on A&E, and it was real popular at the time. I don't even know if they still have it, but at the time,
I don't think so.
Every time I watched a Jamil video, the algorithm would throw a Pace video in. So I would watch 12 Jamil, 1 a Pace. And then the next day I'd watch 8 Jamil and 4 a Pace. And then I'd watch 4 Jamil and 8 a Pace, until finally I was like 1 Jamil when I would wake up in the morning, and the rest of the day I was watching Pace and Morty videos. And I just bought into the idea of using other people's money, raising private capital, building real estate for yourself, having your own rentals, having your own properties, having your own equity, and building a lifestyle. You're building an empire to pass down to your kids, as opposed to wholesale. You're just chasing the next deal.
Right.
And that really resonated with me. So that's how I got started.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I talked to one of Pace's onboarding agents, and God bless him. The kid earned every penny he got for commission for signing me on, because
There you go.
I got to day 28 before I was supposed to go run that refinery job. And I was telling my wife, I said, hey, I got this figured out. I know what I'm going to do. And she's like, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to jump into real estate. And she's like, what do you mean jump into real estate? And I said, I'm going to be an investor. And she's like, you've never done a real estate deal in your life. Like, you would take.
I'm sorry. I could just picture her going like,
Oh, yeah.
wait, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And my wife at the time was a mortgage loan officer that works for a very prominent bank, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she sees loans all the time. She deals with real estate transactions all the time. Like, she's in the forefront of it.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, the only properties you've ever owned, you paid cash for, and you had a note on a napkin that you just walked into the courthouse. Like, that's the only transaction you've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
You've never seen a purchase contract. You've never been in negotiations. You don't know any of this stuff. She's like, and you're going to go against other investors with 30 plus years of experience. At the time, it was coming out, it was 2022. It was May of 22. So you're coming out of the COVID bubble, which was probably the most competitive time in real estate.
Right.
Right? And she's like, you have all of this stacked against you, and you don't even know how to get started. Like, how are you going to do this? And I said, well, I found this mentorship that basically teaches me how to do all this creative financing, raise private capital, build a business. They have all the contracts and everything that I would need to get started. All I need to do is jump in, do the online schooling, and then apply what I learned to start building my business. And she's like, where did you find this mentorship? I said, on YouTube. And she's like, well, how much does it cost? I said, I think it's $10,000. And she's like, so let me get this straight. You're giving up a very well six-figure job.
Yeah.
You're paying $10,000 to jump into a mentorship that teaches you to use other people's money to buy your properties when you've never done the first real estate transaction, and you want to pay $10,000 for us to do that. And I was like, yeah, pretty much. And she said, and you found all of this on YouTube. And I was like, yeah, pretty much. And she's like, you have got to be out of your mind. So
Pretty much.
I say to this,
But it worked.
the greatest deal I ever negotiated in real estate was getting her to sign me up for this. Like,
That's an awesome story, dude.
I wore her down. She got on the phone with that onboarding agent for an hour and a half and grilled.
Oh, that's why he earned all his commission, because you got the wife on the phone with that. Yeah.
I was moving my
She
apartment.
let him know.
Yeah. And I was moving the apartment that I had when I finished that big plan. I was moving out of that apartment. I was loading the U-Haul while she was sitting in the living room of the apartment, just grilling this kid for an hour and a half.
Did you have that money saved up? Did you have to go,
We had
take 5 credit cards like they say to do?
we had savings and everything built up because, like I said, I'd made all that money for
Right, yeah.
You know what I mean? So we had all that money saved up and stuff like that we paid it, but I did do the installment. I didn't pay it all up front. So I did installments of it, so I had more working capital to where if I needed to get started and pay for whatever I did. But ultimately that's how I got started. So
Okay, so you got the course, you watched all the videos and did all the training and stuff. What was your first step to go find a deal?
The next day, like the day I signed up, I was waking up at 7 a.m, taking my kids to school. And then from that point on, I had the Kajabi videos playing in the car while I was door knocking. I would have them playing in the car while I was going to real estate agencies and meeting every agent, every broker, pitching them creative. You have bad deals, like call me. I'll make
Yeah, let's get you paid somehow, then not get paid at all.
I would hit every wholesaler up in the East Coast, anybody that was in Ohio. Hey, do you need help with your team? Like I was the most. They say take action. There is not
Hmm.
a chance that you can take more action than I took. I,
It sounds like it. How did you? I mean,
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
and maybe it's just a personal thing, but you got all this knowledge. How did you gain up the confidence to go and just attack all these people? Because I mean, I know going and talking to realtors would be kind of for some people a little bit daunting.
it is
To convince them, because realtors don't like sub two.
no.
Well, some do, some don't.
Yeah. Honestly, I seen it as I had no other choice. Like I gave up 17-year career. This was the only way I was feeding my family. Like
Yeah.
if you, it's I don't want to say it was desperation because financially, like we were okay, like we had savings and
Right.
stuff like that. But if I was going to make this work, like I needed to be getting income immediately from it because
Full
I
bore.
knew getting started it was going to be small. Like I wasn't going to make big money for the first year. Like
Hmm.
if I made $500 a month, it was a successful month in getting into this. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so the only way I knew how to do it is get started immediately. Like I was, and looking back on it now, I probably spun my wheels doing things I shouldn't have done more than I should have done. Like there
Like
were
what?
uh, real estate agents, firstly, like during that time, coming out of the COVID bubble, they were still getting listings that the day the listing went live, they were getting 6 offers, 3 of them above asking price.
Hmm. Yeah.
It's like biggest and best by noon, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sitting in there wasting 45 minutes trying to explain to them how creative financing is the thing that's going to save their life. You know what I mean? Like,
Now is a better time to go talk to them.
oh, I have incredible relationships with agents now, but at the
Yeah.
time, like they weren't interested in me. And I didn't know my audience because I didn't even know what I was talking about. Like I literally listening to what I heard on a Kajabi about
Yeah.
what lease option was, and then I would go straight into the office and start pitching them. Hey, I can do lease options. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
You're
Figure it out later.
Yeah, no clue, no gravity of what I was saying. I was saying, just give me a shot. Like, let me.
Guys, take notes of this alone. I mean, this is the biggest thing if you take from this whole thing. Action.
That is,
Get the information, put it into effect.
yeah.
How long did it take you to get your first deal?
I officially started, LLC started, was in sub two June 6th, 2022. So it's not quite 3 years yet, coming up on my third year total.
Okay.
My first deal happened in October of
So
2022.
June, July, August, September. So 5 months.
5 months. Yeah.
In those 5 months, I know there had to be some doubt. There had to be some, some hard conversations with your wife.
Every
I
day.
mean, what are some of the things? Because I think this is probably the second most important thing is when you take action, it's one thing. Then you get beat up.
Yeah.
What mindset, what tools, what things did you use to help keep you focused on the goal?
Um, the thing that really, really helped me is I kept a logbook. I kept almost like a business diary for those 5 months. Hey, Tuesday, this is what I did. Every hour, like every hour I would do a checklist. I stopped at this realtor. I did this. I did this. I did this. Like the day that I didn't have 6 items in there was a day that I was really trying. And I would hold myself accountable and be like, you're like, if you're supposed to be losing weight, you're supposed to be counting calories. If you're supposed to be making money, you're supposed to be taking account of what you're doing that are money generating activities.
Right.
And for that 5 months, like I kept that in the car with me. And every time I did something, I would fall back to that. And I would go back and look at it. Like days that I thought I wasn't good enough. Because there are days you doubt yourself. There are
yeah.
days, man, like, did I do enough? Did I do this right? Did I do whatever? I would go back to that and be like, well, yesterday I stopped at 13 places and was door knocking and went to this foreclosure auction and was talking to the auctioneer, went to this probate attorney and tried to build that relationship. Like I don't know what else I could have done better than that. So if
Yeah.
that's what I'm doing on a bad day, how am I going to do 1% better today? And it just like drove me to keep driving.
Yeah.
Um, God bless my wife. She really didn't hammer me like a lot of people would think. You would think that, hey, after 2 months of not having a single income, watching our savings continue to dwindle and go down because driving 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, like the fuel alone was killing
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
me. She never really hammered me. Like it got to the
Good.
point to where I think in September we were putting our kids into school and we had to go get I think we had to go get clothes or something like that for them to start school. And all schools now like set a checklist of all of the supplies that we're supposed to
Oh, yeah. I get
get.
him.
You know what I mean? And,
Hmm.
and she got the checklist from both our kids' schools, and we look in the bank and we had $763. That's it. That's all the money we had.
Man.
Um,
Panic button.
2 weeks later, 2 weeks after that, our car payments were due for 635 of the $763. And she's like, I have to get these stuff for the kids, and then we have our car payments, and we don't have enough money. And that's the first time, the only time probably that she looked at me and said, when's enough enough? When do you go back?
Mm.
Because it's one thing to be supportive. It's another thing to where I'm signing on for you to be destructive for our family. Like,
Right. Right.
so
That's a difficult conversation, man.
it was, it's the only time that I've been with her that I ever felt like I failed. So it was rough. It was a very rough evening, very rough day, very rough time. You know what I mean?
And
And
when was that? When was that in correlation to when you finally got that first deal? Like what's the time
middle of
frame
September,
between it?
probably middle of September.
Okay, so not maybe within a month.
Yeah.
Nice.
Middle of September. And then I think the first week of October, I finally got paid for a deal.
Proof of concept. Yes. How
Yeah.
much did you make on that
20,
first deal? $2,500.
yeah. I JV.
That's same as much I made on my very first one. It's twenty
Yeah.
five hundred bucks.
I JV'd on a wholesale. It was $5,000. I got 25 of it.
You
And
got the bug though.
I did. And as soon as I said, "See, I can do this." And that 25 basically just covered what we needed to cover for the month. Like that barely got us by the month of October. But at the end of October, I got another deal.
Yes.
And the second week of November, I got another deal. And then the third week,
All your work up until that point paid off.
yeah, absolutely. By that point, the market started to shift where people weren't getting the deals they were getting. Things were overpriced and inflated.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these real estate agents that didn't give me the time of day in the summertime started reaching out to me because stereotypically, when you get closer to Christmas time, like the agents start drying up. People aren't necessarily buying. And that's
Yep.
when they start calling me and say, hey, what kind of creative thing could you do for this? I
Yep.
started picking up doors. We started getting some rental income. We started to get some of this, and it just kind of started building and going to where, hey, we may just be able to make something out of this.
I love that. Okay, so fast forward to today.
So
What does it look like? What does your business look like? What kind of volume are you doing now? How happier is your wife?
my wife is, I don't know how happy she is. She's overwhelmed.
Is she helping you with the business?
She is involved.
Nice.
She still has a W-2 that she's doing because she is a very conservative person and
Mhm.
she's terrified of giving up something that she's worked for years in and jumping over and just being self-sufficient.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
rightfully so.
And I can't fault her for that,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's much longer before I'm just going to say, hey, you're done. You're going to make the business way more money by being in it than being a part-time participant.
Yeah, I mean that is a real thing, right? It's like, once she might be afraid, but just think how more effective the business could be when she's dedicating full time into that. So that's huge. So what does your volume look like today? What does your team look like?
So, we have 73 rentals now, full-time hard.
Whoa.
I think we're bringing in close to 45,000 a month just in rental income.
Wow.
We have Two full-time crews that work with us that we do 2 to 3 flips a month now with our bare minimum, like our basic, like if we don't net after we take private money and everybody back, if we don't net 25,000 a deal,
Hmm.
it's not a deal for us. Like we won't do the deal because of our
Awesome.
thresholds. So we
So
do,
now, just so our folks know, your net 25, meaning after your rehab costs, after your fees with your private money, all that stuff.
yeah. So purchase price is paid off. Our private lender is paid off. Closing costs, commissions, holding costs, everything that we have spent to get to the closing table to sell it to an end buyer.
Right.
All expenses gone if I don't net $25,000.
It's
That's
not
not
a
a
deal.
deal. Yeah. So that's our basic. That's our bare minimum. That's the basement of our foundation. Our average is 38. That's what we have.
Nice. That's really good.
Yeah. So so we're averaging 2 a month right now for that. I'm building a relationship right now to where we're going to be doing into a new market that I hope in the second quarter of this year, I'm doubling that because I'm going to have 2 more crews in another market that I'm going to be able to flip 2 to 3 here and 2 to 3 there to where we can go hopefully average around 5 a month at that.
What market?
Akron, Canton, Ohio.
Oh wow.
So, um, I took it upon myself to further my education last year and went to another mentorship for a company that's called Results Driven.
Hmm.
They're very prominent in Columbus, Ohio for wholesaling and doing fix and flips. They do, I think, 300 deals a year between
Wow.
wholesaling and flips. And they basically, if you do their 6 month mentorship course, they give you a coach that holds you accountable. You're doing everything. It's a business in a box. They teach you exactly how they do things to be able to do that volume.
Hmm.
You incorporate it and do it the same thing in your business. So I paid to go through that mentorship, and it has paid dividends for us. To go through that course, having the coach, having that affirmation, like, hey, if you do this, this, and this, we guarantee results. Like, there's no way
Yeah.
you're going to fail. Like, all I need you to do is show me the way. I've got enough drive and ingenuity that we're going to get it. And since then, I've built my own acquisitions team where we've started wholesaling. I have 2 acquisition specialists now. Just in the from last Thursday to this day, so 7 days.
Hmm.
They don't work Saturday, Sunday, so we can just say 5 working days.
Right.
They've locked up 14 deals in 5 days.
Whoa, that's
So
awesome.
Um, part of those are going to be flips for us. Part of them we're going to wholesale. When they got to 11, I started adding up that, our rough average, if we paid private money and did everything and flipped the ones that I thought we were going to flip and just did what our real estate agents are giving us on CMAs of what we should sell it for, our median
Mhm.
average. Um, 11, when they hit 11, I started averaging it was $298,000 in profit is what we should have pulled.
That's
Um,
incredible.
they've done another 3 deals since then, so that number's gone up.
Where
And
where are you doing your lead gen, or how you doing your lead gen?
I go through a company called REI Print Mail, and we do check mailers. So they generate the list based off of the zip codes that we want them to do. I personally go through, scour they give us a proof to go through and see what we like, what we don't like. I fine tune the list based off of what they pull as far as data and get it fine tuned, and then give them the green light to start doing the mailers and sending that out. Mailers are probably the most successful marketing for us. We also do PPL leads, organic leads, and then um, starting to do a lot of social media stuff now
Got it.
to get 4 to 5 different marketing channels that all kind of funnel back to us. That's
What's your closing percentage on your mailers? Or actually, just response rate on your mailers.
response rate. So in Akron, Canton, it's about 1.25, which national average is 0.5. So one and a quarter is
Yeah, I'm about to
pretty.
say it's a lot higher than what everybody else is getting, or a lot of
Yeah,
other people getting.
yeah. Here in our local area, it's about 4%. So, and like I said, with the flip returns and everything that we're getting out of it, we're not going in and doing full gut rehabs. We have the flip game refined and fine tuned because I've been in construction. Like I've kind of worked with my general foreman and everything like that to build this thing up. Like we're averaging 3 weeks in and out of
Wow.
a flip to where they can be working on one flip by the fourth week, they're moving into the new one. So about every third month, we're turning an extra flip over just because it hits our timelines that way. So
Sweet.
so we're building. Yeah, it's been crazy.
Sounds like you got a nice dialed plan. Well, because we're running out of time here, what is some advice? What's like a main pearl or word of wisdom that you could tell our audience that, if they're getting into the real estate game, whether it's flipping, wholesaling, whatever it might be?
Top three things. Everybody says it. Every real estate podcast you see, your network is your net worth. That is the truest statement that you will
Yes,
ever hear
sir.
in life. The
Yes,
people
sir.
that you talk to, the people that you're connecting with, are the reason you will be successful, bar none. And it may not be because they're going to give you money or partner with you, but they've experienced something that you haven't that's going to save you a month. And if it saved you a month,
Heck yeah.
how much further are you going to be not having to waste that time? You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like it's insanity that I should have been networking a lot sooner. I should have been connecting with people a lot sooner. I should have been putting my name out there. The second thing I would say is raise capital, as much capital as you can possibly raise based off of yourself and what you can bring value wise. Don't
Mhm.
overinflate yourself. Don't lie because people will find you and it will ruin your reputation.
It will be. Yeah, you don't. It's too small of a world in this game, man. Too small of a world.
It doesn't matter if you're just getting started. There is somebody out there that just got started and wish somebody would throw them a bone. If you're raising capital, somebody will give you a chance.
Yep.
Don't lie to them. Like
Yep.
make sure you're 100% transparent, even if things go bad. Like I can't stress that enough. I wish I'd have raised 10 times the capital that I've raised up to this point.
Yeah.
And the third thing is build your brand. Like if you're going to be anything, your name and your brand is going to represent you way bigger than your name ever will. Um, Social media is the greatest tool in the world for that. Getting your name out there, getting people to understand who you are. You could go through and be the greatest roofer in the history of roofing. Name me one roofing company right now. You can't. But you know who,
In my local market, I can, but
yeah, but I mean national wide. Like you
oh
can't,
yeah, yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
But name me a national brand. Name me anything. You
yeah,
have just like the the Tony Robbins and Cody Sanchez's, Pace Morby's,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like those people build their brands based off
The
of
investor fuel.
exactly. Investor fuel is massive. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So your brand and what you're doing is going to bring attention. It's going to bring eyeballs. It's going to bring capital. It's going to bring
Credibility.
credibility. And your business will explode if you put time and effort into that. Those are the three things that if you're getting started, like it'll be a rocket ship.
And those are the three things that if you didn't write anything else down, you better write those down. Man, you've dropped a lot of good things, and we might have to schedule another podcast to keep talking because I mean, there's so many things I can ask you and questions. How do folks get a hold of you if they want to reach out, they want to partner, they want to do whatever? How do they get in touch?
Our website, richinvestmentsgroup.com, you can get on and see things that we've done. I have links on there that you can contact me directly. You can contact our acquisitions people. I'm actually getting ready I have a YouTube channel for the Eric Richards. We haven't even touched on this yet, but I starting to build my brand. I actually built our own podcast studio, and
Oh, nice.
we're going to be getting our podcast up and running. And then this is our first episode this coming weekend. Just got the studio together.
Awesome.
So the Road to Riches podcast is what we're going to call it, and it's going to be all about what we've talked about today. Not necessarily all real estate, but how do people that are successful in businesses, whatever that business is, if
Yep.
you are the greatest underwater basket weaver, you can feed your family. Like, how did you do it? Like, how did you get off the ground? Where did you come from with the ideas? How do you market yourself? How do you put this out there so it outweighs somebody else out there that loves weaving baskets underwater
Underwater, right?
and can be, the next big thing. You know what I mean? So that's what we're going to highlight and that's what we're going to emphasize.
Love it.
And I built the studio so that way we can have our podcast, but I'm also know for anybody else in this area that wants to do a podcast, I'm going to rent them the space where all they got to do is show up, plug and play. We have all the equipment. I have an engineer ready to go. Like he can help you cut it, market it, do whatever you need to do for pennies on the dollar. Like it is.
Serial entrepreneur, man.
I have 15 other things going on that we couldn't touch to today, but
Like I said, we could always do another one, man. We could share some more stuff.
yeah,
But everybody, I seriously, this has been a fantastic episode. Eric, thank you again for sharing all that you shared. Guys, if you do want to reach out to him, I'll put all the information in the show notes. You'll be able to get the, link up with him and utilize his knowledge, man. Because the guy, I mean, you heard the story. I hope you guys had a great episode. I know I did. I look forward to talking to you on the next one. Cheers. Thanks, Eric.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.